Welcome to Happy Chaos. You might have been able to read it today.
I spy something with my eyes.
And the color is
Pink
your cup,
and orange.
my cup, this chapstick.
The sign. Peep the sign.
The sign. The sign. It just came in today. A little story before the stories.
Yeah.
We had to go porch pirate our neighbor because
We could be in jail right now.
I think it's the only thing that makes sense.
I mean, we would get let out because it was our
ours.
package.
Yeah. So we got a notification that our sign came in just earlier today, and Kelly was so excited. She was.
Oh, I've been looking all day, and I've been keeping the dogs in all day because our dog, one of them,
He'll eat people.
he'll eat people, especially people with packages like Amazon.
He doesn't like the. Have y'all ever seen like the cartoon with the dog that hates the mailman? That's what we have. And so we got a blurry picture.
Like a movement picture.
And then we looked at the address and it gave like a range, like a number range.
Yeah.
It didn't give like a single number on our address. It was like this through this. And
So it's like, take a guess. It could be
Yeah.
one of 4 houses.
5.
One of 5 houses.
So we like walked down looking at these houses. It actually was the last one. So anyways, we're on another camera because we're on someone's Ring doorbell. I was like, great, they got a Ring doorbell. So now I got to like talk to the Ring doorbell and tell them. So I'm like doing the thing where I'm getting all close. I'm like, okay, I'm Justin Ross. So
And hopefully they don't watch our podcast because if they post a little clip of their Ring doorbell, I'm going to be so humiliated.
that would be funny, actually.
It would be humiliating.
If you watch this podcast.
No, don't encourage it.
And-
don't encourage it because they could.
Yeah.
And we were like talking to a Ring doorbell that we're not sure anybody even heard or saw. And we're like,
It's our package.
so our package got delivered to your house. We're
We're not stealing your package.
We're not stealing. Because then there was a package for them.
Yeah, there was 2 packages. And I did
But
think,
we only took ours.
I did think about stealing theirs.
You did not.
I steal packages all the time. I'm always worried I'm going to get one of those exploding glitter bombs. And he's a pastor.
Oh, shoot.
Okay, it's a special episode today here on Happy Chaos with the new neon sign behind us.
We chose the smiley face for the O. I mean, there was no other option. We had to do that.
Yeah, I really do love the sign though. It's fun.
Me too.
Yeah, It's like a nice little touch.
And we're probably going to get some comments. Is it crooked? It's purposefully crooked.
Because it's Happy Chaos.
Because it's Happy Chaos.
Yeah, it's kind of what makes sense.
Yeah. So just before you ask. And if you do ask that question, we're going to know that you didn't even listen 5 minutes into our podcast. I know.
Got him. Actually, we have a pretty high retention rate.
We do. Yeah.
Here on the podcast.
You guys follow through, most of you,
Yeah.
for the 1 hour and 45 minutes that we ramble.
Yeah. Well, we love doing this podcast with each other and
Very
sharing
much
with
so.
you guys. And so here we
It's the
are.
highlight of our
Again, we've made it to episode 7.
Yes.
I mean, I think if there's one thing, I mean, you could blame me for a lot of things and say that I'm a lot of things, but you could never,
Great thing.
you could never say that I'm not dedicated. If I started,
Very dedicated.
I will stick with it.
Yeah.
And that's how this podcast is going to go. Today is a special Mother's Day episode because it is Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to our wonderful mothers.
Happy Mother's Day. Unless we have some technical difficulty and post without sound or some other thing.
Let's hope not.
Yeah. What was that? Were you checking for sound?
I was checking to see if our thing was plugged in there, but
Yeah.
you got this.
That's-
You're good.
I got it all set up.
You do.
Yep. So anyways, happy Mother's Day. And
Mother's Day.
so today we are keeping the episode purposefully light and fun.
Yes.
No heavy topics today. We're talking.
Unless we hit a heavy topic. You never know. I mean,
it could happen.
it
couldn't it?
could. And we are coming
just
off
turn
a
on
kind of
a
heavy
dime.
week. So, but that's why we're going to keep it extra light.
Yeah, it's today. The plan of today's episode is to talk about a Sunday, like a typical Sunday in this big blended family. what does it look like? What are we doing? Just kind of the play by play, blow by blow. Like what's going on? So,
And in
that's the
case you're
plan.
joining us for the first time,
Oh yeah,
I'm
you might not
Kelly.
even know.
and this is Justin,
Who's Justin?
this handsome fellow right here.
This Justin.
This is my husband.
Get it
Justin.
like extra.
This
extra.
Justin.
This Justin.
This Justin.
You get it. Yeah.
I love that, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That was corny.
once a widower, once a widow. We got married 4 months ago, 5 months ago,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yep. Lots of kids. We got 9 of them.
Yeah.
And 7 here in the house. A grandbaby. I'm sure lots of more grandbabies in the future. But we're just going to have a house full always, which we love. We like to take a little time and read some comments
It's probably one of my favorite parts of the show.
from the Now, are we going to try the voice inflection, or are you going to try to like give a different?
I don't like being put on the spot.
Let's start with Scottish.
No.
Like just a full accent. Australian?
No.
I don't really know if
I'm
I
more
can
of
do
like an
Australian.
English.
All right, you could go English.
I can't do it right now. I'm on the spot, and
Oh boy, she got nervous.
got
I can sense it, and I can feel it in there. The tension got
I
high.
totally did. All right. So
Neva Joy Paul, we're related by marriage. It's my late wife's cousin.
I
Hi,
didn't
Neva.
know that.
Yep.
Oh man.
They live up north.
Okay.
Yeah, but they don't really have northern accents. Or
How
they
do you
sound-
know?
Well, maybe I
Have you
sound like
talked?
I was
When's the
southern.
last time you talked to them?
It's been a while.
Exactly. So bring it out. Where are they living up north? Like New England?
No, like Upper Indiana. Well, or at least middle. I don't
Well,
really
then
know.
that's-
I don't really know where in Indiana.
That's the same as him. So we're not gonna.
Probably shouldn't be shouting out their like.
You didn't say
cities
their
and
city. Yeah. No.
It's a big state.
It is a big state.
Anyways, God is faithful, is what you said, and
God is very faithful.
we would say amen to that, Neva. So, thanks for the comment. What is
Next.
Bet McCollum Sanders says, "What is a hot brown?"
Oh, I'm gonna leave this one to him because he's the hot brown king.
I
Although I have made a hot brown.
listen. Like I don't say. Sometimes people say something and it doesn't sound like I want it to come out the right way. Like Google this. You need to see this magic. It's like
Oh, it is magic though.
yeah, it's so good. So okay, a hot brown is an open-faced turkey sandwich, but that feels cheap to say it that. So that's what I'm saying. Like you
that
got
did sound cheap.
right. It's like a slice, a big slice, like Texas toast style bread, turkey, and in the best way, the best ones use oven roasted turkey.
Yes.
Not slices of deli turkey.
Right.
Okay, oven roasted turkey, and then bacon and tomato.
Tomato for sure.
Yeah, and then they make this cheese gravy.
Roux, like a.
Yeah, they make a roux. You make a roux, but it's a cheese. Then you make like a cheese gravy.
Y'all. And the best ones are smothered.
Like swimming in cheese. So that when I said that this is local, it's around here. There's the Brown Hotel here.
You haven't had one from there though.
I've not had one from the Brown Hotel. I've never had the opportunity, but I like a hot brown. And so any restaurant that I go to that has a hot brown, I then get the hot brown and I rate them. And if you ask me really nicely, I'll tell you where the best one in Kentucky is. The only one that's ever gotten a 10 from me. And I don't give,
He doesn't.
as Kelly's telling the truth here, like I don't give 10s. I don't just throw them around.
Like walking around.
I don't really throw around high numbers. We rate our foods from 1 to 10, and I regularly am giving out 5s and 6s, which kind of devastates Kelly. She doesn't like it when I do that. We'll go somewhere and she'll say, "How good was it?" And I'm like, "It's all right." And she'll say, "We'll rate it," and I'll say 6, and she'll be like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Look, if you want a high number, you gotta impress me." I'm like the Russian judge.
Yeah.
You gotta
really
impress
are.
me.
But when he is impressed, it's something. Like it's like
Right. That's
we're
why.
in the presence of a 10.
So I I told Kelly this when I said, look, if you go throwing out 10, everywhere we'd go, we'd get something. She's like, it's a 10.
Oh, stop.
It's a 10. It's a
He's
10.
full of baloney right
And
now.
the thing is, it cheapens the 10s. Then you're like,
I do not do that with everything. It just so happens that he cooks 10s.
no, there's been a lot of things that's called a 10. Even recently, we went out to eat at Lulu and you called it a 10.
But that was the 10.
See? Okay. With me, I've given out probably since we've known each other 4, maybe 5 10s.
One of them was something I made.
That's right. And then when you made something and I called it a 10, you were falling out of your chair. Yeah. Because then it was work. Now it's like
I was beaming.
That's a special 10.
That was a special 10.
Here you have it.
But then it's like, can I recreate that 10?
Yeah. All right. So top 3 hot browns, Lulu in Louisville, Kentucky.
That's number 3?
That's number 3.
Okay.
Well, there's a tie for second. Okay. They're back and forth.
Yeah.
Second to that, or equal with that, is the Red Yeti over in.
We need to go over there again.
Yeah, over in Indiana, the Red Yeti. I'll only tell you the first one if you ask me. It's the only 10. Those 2 got 9s.
Yeah.
But.
So if you ask in the comments, but it's going to be in the comments of our podcast because that's where we really read from.
Yeah, pretty much the Facebook has the most comments and views. So, okay, there you go. That's enough about hot browns now that I'm hungry. Let's see. You want to read this one, Diana Harland?
Diane Farrell Harland. This podcast has helped me so much. I've lost a lot. I'm 70 years this year. I've had 2 husbands, the father of my boys to pass. Also lost 2 of my boys, and God has mended me and gave me a joy and happiness and sent me a godly man. This is from Missouri. We're so blessed to have y'all on Facebook. That just is like this beautiful, bittersweet package.
Yeah.
You know, to hear you have lost so much, and my goodness, we're so sorry that you've lost so much. I can't even imagine. I really can't. But that you can sing of the goodness of God through it all is my life goal.
Right. And I love this comment that she says she's lost her 2 boys, but then she says, God's mended me and given me joy and happiness and sent me a godly man, even at 70 years old. And so
amazing.
Yep, we love it. And so thank you for watching. Wawa is named that. This is from Catherine Brown, Jeffries Brown. She says Wawa. That's because I picked on Wawa last week. Y'all, I'm never going to win this Wawa argument.
Ever.
The name is dumb. Anyways, here we go. I'm going to read this. Wawa is named that because that's where it was first originated, Wawa, Pennsylvania.
I should have known that. We had to learn. I worked at Wawa. It was one of my favorite jobs.
Is PA Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you have to learn everything about Wawa, like why they named it that, their mission statement, and you learn about why the geese fly into V, and wonderful. Really
you
cool.
learn why geese fly into V.
Yeah, I mean it's just this really cool thing because that's their
learned that off of Mighty Ducks.
That's true. Mighty Ducks is one of my favorite movies. But yeah, so I don't think that they'll be changing their name anytime soon. I don't think so either.
I think we're all I'm admitting that this is one of those things that I'm willing to admit that, statistically or factually I'm incorrect, and yet I still feel very correct.
Yeah, because you just don't like the name.
Well, I mean, it does sound dumb.
Wawa.
And
I think you're just not used to it because you know that for the longest time, I mean, up until just recently, it's an East Coast store. They just now are starting to move off the East Coast. It was specialized.
Oh, okay. Wawa.
Wawa.
It's the place that people go and get sub sandwiches at a.
It is. They're good. They're not pub subs, but they're really good, and they have great mac and cheese. And
my brother and I used to make fun of my dad for getting food from gas stations, and now y'all with these Buc-ee's and Wawas, y'all are like making it into a thing. Yeah. Okay.
Marissa Everheart.
Yeah.
Irons in the fire. That comment will go down as probably.
That was all you. That was all you. If you don't know what we're talking about, you got to go watch the last episode. Kelly told me, y'all want to know what Kelly said when we got done with that? She said, I can't believe you kept a straight face. I just went right over it. Y'all, I am a pastor, and I just...
But you married me, and so there is that. Oh, everyone at church knows too. All my people are like,
Here
he
goes.
married a wild card.
She's a wild one.
Yeah.
All right. Is it my turn or your turn?
You do it.
Dana Hammondtree said, love you both. We're celebrating 11 weeks newly married. We both were widowed for several years, and the Lord brought us together, and we are enjoying our new love story and blending our ministries. God is so good. And
That is so good.
yeah, and I just love hearing that too, that you're blended ministries. I mean, that's what we're doing here. We really view this as a ministry. And by the way, Dana, just congratulations on getting married again. And I'm sure you all have a wonderful story and a wonderful testimony, and the Lord's going to use that, just like He's doing here with us.
Yeah.
And you know, we really see this as a ministry. That's why it's under the Whole Truth umbrella. You know, we're really building a ministry out of that, and this is part of what we want that ministry to be. We really believe that you utilize the thing that God has placed in front of you, where He's placed you in life. I just did a Bible study. I did a sermon last week and then Bible study this week on the Whole Truth about when King David was anointed as king in Israel, how God anointed and appointed him, and then He positioned him. He prepared him and He positioned him.
Y'all, shameless plug. I know I do this all the time. You have got to go. I think they're on the Whole Truth too, aren't they?
The sermons?
Yeah.
The sermons are on the church website. I'm working on getting those shared over to the Whole Truth website.
All right. Well, so Salt and Light.
Yeah.
Salt and Light KY.
You can go to the website, or you can go to YouTube directly and just look up Salt and Light.
Salt and Light Church.
Yep, Salt and Light Church, and you'll see my face.
And you'll get to see all these series. Like you'll be flooded. Like you could listen all day long.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, you could.
Although I know some people who have. I know some people who've said, like, we listened for 10 hours in the car, and I'm like, I would get sick of me after 10 hours. No. Even right now, I'm a little raspy. So, all right, maybe one or two more.
Okay. All right, Catherine Cece. Love listening to you two. A real marriage, sad, happy, real life. You both complement each other. Don't change. Costco pics are just as bad as DMV pics. Yeah, they are. Like, I took a new one, and I think it looks worse than the last one. And I'm kind of like, dang, I should have just kept my picture, you know? But, yeah, thank you for the compliment, by the way.
Marissa Everheart had one more comment. I just want to bring this one up. It's this line. Well, she said, I love the gifting problem. I said Kelly has a spending problem, and Kelly just quickly...
She has a gifting problem.
She said, I don't have a spending problem. I have a gifting problem.
I do.
Well, there you have it. Hey, if you want your comment possibly read, because there's lots of comments and we can't get to all of them, then leave it on the podcast, especially there on Facebook. Also on over on Spotify, that would be great as well. And that'll work its way. You know, Spotify Podcaster has this whole deal that it'll kind of work its way to other platforms, Apple Podcasts and others, but it just takes a little time for those things to get there. So anyways, but I know for certain it's on Spotify as of right now, and it'll kind of creep its way up onto others as it gets listened to. So, all right, we appreciate your all's comments. Keep them coming.
Keep them coming.
Let's talk about Sundays.
By the way, I was forbidden to wear a black shirt today.
Forbidden is a strong word. Highly recommended against it because we look like floating heads.
We did not look like floating heads. Like there was a color difference between the black wall and the black us. And so, black shirts.
I feel like you were scowling at me a little bit, were you like?
Well, kind of, because I love wearing black, y'all. I love wearing black. And I love color too, but for the podcast, it's very professional yet fun. And so I could have rebelled. He would have rebelled. Had I told him not to wear a black shirt, he would have rebelled and he would have worn one. He's rebellious in that way.
I don't know that that's accurate. It's not that. She sees this idea. She has this idea that when she tells me to do something,
Or asks. Like, I don't tell you to do stuff. I don't bark commands or anything. I don't. I know, y'all. Maybe sometimes like typical wife stuff where you're like, hey, can you, but see, there's a can you do this? It's never like, hey, go do this.
I'm just kidding. But she'll grab a shirt and she'll be like, "Oh, you should wear the shirt." And I genuinely don't want to wear that shirt at the time. I'm like, I don't want to wear that one. And then she feels like that's just because she picked it that I don't want to wear it. But that is not what is going through my head. I'm just like, I don't want to wear that shirt. I don't like it, or I don't want to wear long sleeves, or whatever. And so, you're even disagreeing with me right now. I can feel.
I'm just thinking about our shirts for Sunday now. Your shirt and my outfit, how we need to color coordinate.
I will never wear a shirt that you pick for me for a Sunday.
Why don't you tell the audience why?
I don't. We want to talk about Sundays. Maybe we'll get to the. Maybe we'll
It's talking about Sunday though.
Maybe we'll come back.
Okay.
Maybe we'll get back to that, because today it's Mother's Day edition, so it's really, we're gonna ask Kelly some questions.
I'm in the hot seat.
About Sundays. I can chime in and give some kind of backstory of like where we were, but Kelly definitely was brought into a larger family. Of course, I've never had this many children in the house before, so this is new. This is new territory for everybody in some ways. But it's Mother's Day, and so you get the questions. Okay. So let's just start with this. We're just talking about just like life on Sundays. I'm a pastor. We have 7 kids in the house. We have drivers. We've got them from, littles that still need help to make sure they don't pick out the goofiest outfit or try to wear.
Sometimes I let her though. Sometimes I let her just dress in.
Sometimes.
So very rarely.
It depends on how chaotic the morning is.
It's very true. Or like on Wednesdays, and she'll be dressed one way. We'll leave the house, we'll go to church, and then she'll arrive with one of our other children. And I'm like, she changed. She changed. This past Wednesday, she had on like black workout shorts and then like a cute top. And I'm like, okay, you look wonderful. You look. And she pulled her hair back and stuff. She's cute though. She's got a cute little independence thing going on.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, we're going to give Kelly our first question here. It's Mother's Day. What does Mother's Day feel like as a mom in the chaos, in the happy chaos? Like what? Here we are. For you and I, we're not quite at Mother's Day yet, but what does that feel like in this blended family scenario? So
I have a lot of thoughts when it comes to this. Number one, I feel blessed as the mom of so many children. Mm-hmm. Like I never imagined, look, I had 3 girls, so I never imagined having sons. What a beautiful thing. But one of the number one things that is like going through my mind is, okay, so how do we divide the day? Because my mom lives in Florida, so I can't go visit her. I could, but that would be really tough. So she lives in Florida. Then my mother-in-law lives here. And so how much time do we dedicate to, because she's a mom, she's our mom, my mother-in-law. And then we have Mother's Day for me. My kids want to celebrate me. But then we also have a daughter that is also a mother. And so I feel like, oh, what happened?
I think it just went off.
It's on a timer?
Apparently. We're back.
Interesting.
Did you see it?
We'll have to work on that.
Did y'all like my remote move? Because the little plug is down there.
That's good. It was like...
Yeah. For anybody wondering, like, what did he just do? Like, did he just flip a switch on the back of his head? What just happened? No, it was a remote.
It's a remote.
I don't know why I didn't do that lower where you couldn't see it while I like reached high. Whatever.
You were just showing off.
Okay, so go ahead. So just trying to figure out, yes, and then, we have daughters that
are mothers.
And so celebrating
them is
how do you divide the day?
How do you divide the day? And but not
don't
just
have an
that,
answer.
but those daughters that are mothers have mother-in-laws. And so they want to spend time with their mother-in-law. So it's like, do we just plan one big party? Well, let's just plan one big celebration. Everybody come to it. But that would be a whole lot of people.
Yeah, and then who's going to plan that? Mom.
That's true.
So
That's true, because I do like to plan everything. But anyways, so that's like my number one thought for Mother's Day. I'm trying to think, how do we do this, And so I've kind of been playing it by ear and kind of waiting to see. So one of our daughters is out of state right now, and she will be for Mother's Day. So there's one that isn't going to be joining us, and we're not going to be going over to see her. So that's one. And then we had to deal with the whole mother-in-law situation. And so we're going to stop by mom-in-law's house and wish her a happy Mother's Day. And then we're going to, my request was to chill at the house. We have which we're going to talk about here. Our Sundays are crazy. They are absolutely crazy. And this week has been crazy. This weekend is crazy. Tomorrow we have vision tour, and my goodness, that is going to be wonderful. But there has been so much planning and so much time dedicated to preparing for it. So there's that. So I have requested to come home, get my feet rubbed, and drinks served to me, and
I didn't heard anything about the foot rub thing.
I'm just kidding. Just like a little hidden drop there.
Oh. I've got like one of those crazy massage guns. Like put that on the bottom of your foot.
Yes. Or just your hands. You can use the massage gun on my back.
Well, that was dropped live. I'm gonna take a note on how to do that for Father's Day.
You should.
But it's not Father's Day tomorrow.
And
2 days.
I'll give him Father's Day week. It'll just be a week of pampering and spoiling.
Oh. Could y'all mark that down?
I have a gifting problem, and that it's not just monetary gifts. That is also gifts with my hands and.
Y'all, I don't know. I love the way she just tried to like skirt past what just happened. She's like, it's not just a monetary problem. And so there is a monetary problem.
No, it's a gifting problem.
I'd like to dig in a little bit more though, just about the feeling of like, having such a, this time last year, Mother's Day, not married. And, again, I don't want to be heavy in this episode, but just like the feeling of this year, coming into this year, being married, coming into this year with, tripling the number of children that you have. Like, what are some of the feelings? I know you said blessed and
Complete.
Yeah.
Complete. I didn't feel complete for many years. Mm-hmm. You kind of feel like, where is my place? And everything is awkward. Mother's Day is awkward. Father's Day is awkward. Lots of things are awkward. And this year I feel complete. I feel at rest. I feel at home. I feel like everything is the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah. I remember last year, some of at the time my children jumped in to help your girls go out and get some Mother's Day shopping in. Because, in that scenario, here it is, like it's Mother's Day. Are you going to drive your girls out and have them go get you something, get you a card or, something for Mother's Day?
Right.
Well, no, you can't, I guess you could, but, so, here it is this year. And just earlier today, I took all the kids and we went out and we went shopping. And I'll have to talk about that in another episode because I ain't giving nothing away. But it was interesting.
All right, but listen, you guys, to be fair, I told him I don't want anything. I literally don't want anything. And we're trying to save.
I love that comment.
I don't have a spending problem like he thinks, and I'm trying to save.
No, you have a gifting problem. So.
A gifting problem.
Yeah. Will that work the same in reverse too? Like, can I be like, I don't want anything, and you won't get anything? Notice the silence. And the silence was deafening.
It was kind of whatever. But
And
listen.
case in point, y'all. Case in point.
Yeah.
All right. Here's a question for you. What's one unexpected thing you learned about motherhood in a blended family? What's one unexpected thing you learned about motherhood in a blended family?
Goodness.
Do you feel on the spot right now?
I do feel on the spot, and I feel like I have trouble like using my words. I have trouble like,
Articulating?
yeah, exactly what's happening in my mind right now. God, what were you gonna say?
Well, I think one thing that I've witnessed is, the challenge of, what discipline feels like when the child is, here you have this child, but you've only been in the role of mom for that child, and only for what, a few months. We're 5 months now, and so I think that. I know for me, I mean, I think I've kind of overcome that a little bit more and a little bit more quickly than you have to take on that role of dad. But it is difficult to take on that role, and especially when that role is, when the role is as a friend, it's not so difficult. But when the role is one of discipline, to say, of correction, it's a little bit more difficult to correct this child
Very
that
difficult.
that you have not raised since they were born, but you're coming into the scene after the fact. And I think that could be like an unexpected. I mean, it's not necessarily a blessing, but it's definitely just something that you're learning from. Is what that feels like to kind of come into that role of, well, not come into the role as a whole, but come into that role for this person that you have not been in that role before.
Yeah. But what I do feel like is the kids that I have been blessed with, the kids that you brought into the marriage. When I do have to discipline, which discipline is such a strong word. These kids they're older than my littles that like actually do. But I mean, just as far as like having to ask them to do something or ask them to do something differently, they are so respectful, and just it's a yes, mom, I could do that. Yes, mom, I'll get that done. If I ask them to do the dishes or take out the trash or whatever it is that I'm asking them, they are so respectful and loving about it. Like there's not like a head to head ever so far.
Or at least hasn't been yet.
Right, so far and I don't foresee one. I really don't. Like I'm not a confrontational person, and this man, y'all, he is going to be the reason I get gray hair.
I'm gonna get blamed for that. I'm sorry, I just smacked that microphone back.
Because you're making that face, and I am not confrontational. No, I'm not. What else? But listen.
Oh boy.
Stop. I'm not. But anyways, listen.
There she is.
No, I'm not. But I think that, I don't know, they're just everything has been so smooth for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I would say in that way they've been smooth.
Yeah.
As in we haven't had any, major conflicts, especially between children and adults, that there's been some sort of major conflict that we're, fighting with, fighting with one of our kids to try to just be in a family unit.
Right.
I think we've definitely all come to a place of agreement in that regard.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
All right, here we go. We're moving forward onto our Sunday morning topic. So just walk us through a Sunday morning here in the Walker clan, in the Happy Chaos household.
Yeah.
Like Sunday morning, start me off. Where does it start?
Alarm set for 5. And we get up. let you get in the shower, and because you're in and out really quickly, because it's time for you to have his alone time with the Lord. We give him, he tries to get at least an hour in with the Lord, and goes over his sermon, and really just kind of has his time with the Lord. And I usually at that time, I will, so he doesn't have to leave the house and drive around to get that alone time, I will, leave him to the room, and I will come out and I'll make breakfast. And that's the first thing that I do. Well, I mean, I brush my teeth and stuff, y'all, but then I come out and I make some breakfast. Oh, but it's
Now, if I made the face to that, that would be that would be not true. But yeah, so usually there's super early, preparations.
Yeah.
We're getting up super early, but then like making breakfast, that's been a big thing for my family before you. That Sunday morning breakfast was a big deal.
Yeah.
And we've tried to hold to that. But early on, when I was married, we wanted to have a big Sunday breakfast. We wanted to make Sundays special. We wanted our kids to enjoy Sundays, and one of the ways that we felt like to do that was to just start it off on a good note. And way back in the day when I was a youth pastor, before I was a pastor of a church, we would get up and do like a big Sunday morning breakfast every Sunday. So, you didn't have to be to church until 10 a.m. We're already early birds. And so, it made sense for us that we would get up at say 7 a.m. and we would make this big breakfast, and 8 or 8:30, everybody comes down to the table and we'd have pancakes or French toast, bacon and eggs and grapefruit, and it seems to be like the staple breakfast things at our house are, those like bacon, eggs, grapefruit, and some sort of a sweet bread, And slowly over time, after I became a lead pastor, planted a church, and I became the pastor, it became harder and harder for me to engage in those.
Yeah.
And then honestly, I really just can't eat before I preach. And so I kind of got removed from those a little bit, and they got shifted. And then it became go get donuts or make cinnamon rolls, and that's kind of been a big one for us, is like get up and make cinnamon rolls. And then, nobody really has to eat anything big, but we definitely still have kind of a dedicated like come together moment
For sure.
every Sunday morning. Before we go to church, the family we all get out of bed and we all come sit around the table together, and we all enjoy.
Even if it's for 5 solid minutes together, because then you start having like I'll leave the table after just a few minutes because I need to get ready, because I let him have the space in the room. That way he can have his alone time, and so then I need to wrap it up and go do my hair and get dressed and all the good stuff. And we leave early, like me and him, and usually we bring a kid or two with us because they always want to go early, and we have to get to church earlier than the rest of them. And then the other kids fight for going, who's going the latest, which one of you is leaving the latest.
Yeah, there's usually one or two who want to go with us because we're going to be there early.
Yes.
And then there's usually one or two that's like, I am not getting to church.
No.
that I'm not getting to church at 8 a.m.
Exactly.
Especially if I'm on the music team that week, then we're getting there super, super early. And so, that's a typical thing.
Yes.
And keep going. So,
So that's Sunday morning.
Right.
Then we get to church, and then we spend the majority of our day there. Because he'll have practice, and we'll have small groups, and we'll have service, and then, after service is this big, beautiful time to really get to know members of our congregation and kind of plug in with them and get to know them, and you get to witness such beautiful things afterwards, like there's this beautiful couple that we're witnessing this gorgeous growth. Like
Transformation.
Yeah, I like that. That was better. She was into witchcraft, and he was basically an atheist, and they showed up through a podcast, not our podcast, but an interview someone else had about our church and our school. And so they came, and within a couple of weeks, they got baptized and born again, and they are so hungry for the Lord. And I mean, that's just one of many stories, but such a beautiful thing to watch and to see what the Lord is doing. And so, yeah, typical Sunday. We're there.
And, that's something, that Kelly, you didn't really see. I mean, you saw it, but you didn't necessarily see it. As you first came into church, you first came into my life, and then you come into church, and you could physically see that, oh, Justin was there late. But I think I've watched as your eyes have kind of been opened, going from the role of like friend, acquaintance to friend to, best friend, dating, boyfriend, engaged, and now married, and watching that progression to now, and now that you have this role as pastor's wife. So here I am, the pastor, here you are as pastor's wife, that you really begin to see the necessity to be able to minister to people within the congregation.
Yes.
And one kind of special time to do that is the before and after worship services.
Yeah.
There is kind of I think there's, I don't know, I don't want to try to like say something and it come out wrong, but I think just from my perspective, it almost seems like for some people, it's like they've waited for this moment to be able to get a hold of you. Like they've been waiting all week. They've been waiting since, earlier this week to tell you, they're so excited to be able to share with you, or they have this, grave concern and they really want to talk with you. And so, I've seen as pastors and pastors' wives rush out the door after church because they don't want to get stuck there. Stuck there, I'm putting in quotes in my mind, like, that's the way they're putting it, is they don't want to get stuck there. But we really see this, like, this is a time that there's an availability, we're there, someone else is there. So unless something else is specifically keeping us, like we have another engagement
but that takes something super like,
it just it has to be very important in the life of someone else or us, for us to be willing to take that other commitment. There's always other commitments, right? There's always other things to go to, but we try to make ourselves available, at least to some degree, before service and after service. So, usually we're there on a Sunday. We remember alarm clock's gone off at 5 a.m. and usually we're leaving between 2 and 3.
Yeah, sometimes a little later than that, but that's a normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a given Sunday, we're there at church until 2 or 3. And then, depending, I would love to say that we could come home and take that Sunday afternoon nap, because there is nothing like.
Which, Mother's Day, we are coming home after all that. Like, I'm in no rush to get home, but there will be a nap. Like, I don't care if it's 4 o'clock, there'll be a nap. I'm just saying. But Sunday mornings are chaotic, because not only is he playing drums sometimes in the band, but I'm the photographer at church and head of social media at church. So I like to go early. And so like this past Sunday, I got to capture these moments that happen before anybody else is there. Like you have the band playing and practicing, and then you've got, the AV team that are adjusting everything and, really working on making service just a big, beautiful thing. You have helpers who are folding bulletins and handing out bulletins. And I made this really, really cute reel of like kind of the behind the scenes. And there is so much that goes into a Sunday morning service that other people don't see.
So much. Yeah. And so then come home from church. If there's not something on the calendar, which, I would say most of our Sundays have had something on the calendar. So we go and attend to that, whatever that thing is, whether it's a birthday or a visit with somebody or family get together, holiday, whatever it might have been that was being done on a Sunday. So, a lot of times we'll go to those.
Yep.
But if it's not that, then I think, Sunday nights, then we come back together and,
Family night. Because for a long time, every Sunday was a guarantee that everybody was off. And I say long time, we've only been married for 4 or 5 months. But for several of those, Sundays was a day that we know everybody was off. Like we have a lot of Chick-fil-A workers, and so we knew Sundays was a guarantee. But now we have some kids that don't get to make it on Sundays because they work,
Yeah, Sundays are getting a little more chaotic. The schedules are getting a little bit more chaotic, so that's making it a little bit more difficult. But there for a long time, the schedules definitely were Sunday. Sunday was the only time that we could say everybody's usually home on Sunday. So we were trying to do family time then, and I think we'll probably be able to get back to that. But just for right now, it's been a little bit. The last few weeks, it's been a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move you on to another question. Then, all right, you ready?
Yeah.
What's the most chaotic Sunday we've ever had?
Whew, Easter.
Yeah.
As a married couple, Easter, for sure. Because we had sunrise service. So, we're getting up at 4. I think we got up at 4 or 4:30 that day.
Yep.
And, of course, we still do Easter baskets. We still have youngins, and they don't believe in the Easter bunny. I felt like I needed to tell our 7-year-old because, I don't know. I just think it's like, it's not about that. It's definitely not.
Yeah, but it just made for, getting up at 4 a.m. and going to sunrise service and then staying there we had a pancake breakfast this past year at church, and then we, went from that into Sunday service. And, and then there's, baptisms, and that's just always a big.
And then straight from, church and all the after, then it was straight to your parents' house, my in-laws' house, and we had an Easter egg hunt over there. We had some meals over there, and goodness, I don't even know what time we got home that night. It was
about 8.
Yeah.
I think it was about 8 o'clock that night.
Yeah.
And that leads me to the same shirt. Why I won't let Kelly pick my shirt ever again because of Easter. Not this year.
Last year.
But last year. Kelly, she came to me. We were not married. We were dating. And
working out every morning together. So I come over, right? And this is 3 weeks before Easter.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, it's 3.
And I said.
Now, mind you, here, let me go back and let me go in the planning of things. 6 weeks previous to Easter, I had a women's group going on Facebook, a messenger group. And I am a little bit of an instigator, all for fun instigator. And so I got all the ladies in church I sent them an Amazon shirt. And so we all decided it would be so funny to buy our husbands the same shirt. You've seen the video on Facebook, I know y'all have. Where
all the husbands come in.
And they're all wearing the same shirt.
Wearing the same shirt. I don't know anything about that.
No, because this was like a good plan that I had going on.
So 3 weeks before Easter.
Now, mind you, all these women have purchased their shirts.
I get that. So I have this very vivid dream that all the men in the church are wearing the same shirt.
Now, you guys, I come over to come work out, and he's like, I had this crazy dream last night. And I'm like, oh, yeah? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, well, tell me about it.
I believe I said the words, like it almost felt real.
Oh, he used that several times over, you guys.
And so in the dream, all the guys were wearing the same shirt. Then I said something from the pulpit, and I emptied the church. Like, people got so mad. They were getting up and they were walking out of the church. Like all of them. Everybody's getting mad and walking out of the church. And I told her I was like a little freaked out by the dream. Now, let's just pause there for a second. In that moment, do you think you might have been like, ugh? Kelly.
I was like, ugh. I was like, oh boy. I know this isn't going to happen. I know people aren't going to walk out on him. I know the church as a whole is not going to walk out on him. But I'm in this. Like, how do I go to everybody and be like, Justin had a dream that everybody walked out on him, so we're canceling it. You guys return your Amazon shirts, right?
Okay. All right. So it only gets better as then Kelly, within a couple of days before Easter, brings me a shirt.
I waited like 2 days before.
So she brings me a shirt, and I said, Kelly, you know that dream I had. I told her this. I was like, I told you about that dream. I was like, is this that joke where you all get the husbands to all wear? Not that I was a husband at the time.
No, it matches the dress. I just bought an Amazon dress, and it matches my dress, and I want to go as a matchy-matchy couple. I love doing that.
So,
and I was like,
I got up.
I would not play that joke. That's not happening here.
But it is what was happening. And so I wake up on Easter Sunday morning.
I did feel guilty. I know this. You guys are thinking like, especially him. He's like, what? Why wouldn't you just be like, call it up? I was feeling like, I know the church. Then it would ruin the whole surprise of things. And I thought you were gonna laugh when you saw everybody with the same shirts on.
Y'all, I literally said to her, I said, is this that joke? I was like, I will be very upset if this is that joke. I'm telling you, that dream totally freaked me out. I walk into church. There's our music
There's his
minister,
best
friend. And several other guys.
And they're just looking at each other.
All in the same shirt. They start laughing. She starts laughing. I was not laughing.
He wasn't laughing. Mm-mm.
I was not. And so...
it was not a good morning.
But then it only gets better because I didn't have a typical Easter message that year. Our president had made an announcement that year that...
our fake president at the time.
That I, as the pastor, addressed. And so to like icing on the cake was, hey, like I feel like I really, like the Lord's pressing on me to address this. And
changed his message last minute.
Yeah, like 2 days before, changed the message. And y'all, people did get mad and walk out of church that day. That did actually happen. People did get up and they marched
Truth
out
hurts.
that day.
Conviction hurts.
All right. So truth bomb, you should have told me. Y'all, you can just say it. You don't have to whisper it. Go ahead.
He's still upset with me, and
I don't understand why you wouldn't have been like, okay, look, I would have been like this. Here's how I would have handled that. I would have been like, hey, I don't know how to get out of this, but I should at least warn you. Yes, that is what we were trying to do. I don't think anybody's going to get up and walk out. Go ahead.
I thought that if I came to you and told you that, you'd be like, that's it, my dream's going to come true. Everybody's going to walk out of me. So how would you have approached that day knowing even if you changed the shirt and you didn't wear the same shirt, but I had that dream, they are planning that, so is everyone going to get up and walk out on me? So I believe you wouldn't have felt confident in the message the Lord gave you. I truly do. You would have went into this like I was like,
she doesn't have a spending problem. She has a gifting problem.
Oh, so this Sunday, this past Easter Sunday, a couple weeks ago, he was like, "You're not picking out my shirt." He said, "I'm picking out your dress for you." Actually, mm-hmm. He didn't, but I was like, "I don't care. Match me up with everybody."
She wouldn't.
And I told them, and they were like, "We're gonna get you back so good." And I'm like,
"It wasn't about the wearing the matching shirt. It's about that I had this."
I know.
Yeah. See.
But had I come to you, I'm telling you, there would have been doubt in your mind. You would have been like, "Well, I'm walking to my fate here in 3 days, 2 days." 1 day, I'm walking into an empty, I'm going to empty out the place. So be prepared, no matter what I say. And I did not want that for you. That is not a good way for you to walk in and do a sermon.
Well, now you know the story, and the happy couple is still working their way through the Kelly should have told me that she was playing that joke. Anyways,
the church grew, by the way, from that.
That's true.
People are like, this man's on fire, and he is, y'all. He is the pastor of pastors.
Oh boy,
so anointed.
Well, on that note,
on that.
Let's get back to Mother's Day. That was more of an Easter story, but for that reason, even if she tried to pick my shirt on Mother's Day, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't. I don't know that I would say I never would. That feels pouty. I'm not really pouty over it, but I do feel like, I mean, it was there was a whole lot of scenario there that made me go, hey, that it's worth sharing.
Are you with me though that you would have felt a certain way?
No, I'm not. Because I think that's one of those moments that like you're gonna find out. You're gonna like. I found out the really like there was a shocking side of that.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing that I've tried to stress in that, like when I've tried to talk about it, because there were like a ton of people at church that are like, Justin, chill out. And I'm like, man, it's easy to say chill out when you're not the one standing there. You're gonna speak at church tomorrow for 3 minutes.
Now it's 3 minutes. He told me 2 minutes earlier.
And do you see?
It's going to be 30 seconds, just
Okay,
so we're
so-
clear. And
so
actually, we decided, me and Jessica, one of my good friends, Jessica Ferris, I told her, I said, I'm probably going to pass out. And she's like, that's all right. That's all right. You pass out. And we're going to go over and we're going to say, you are slain in the spirit. And we are going to pray over you. And I said, or you can just drag my body right off the stage the moment.
And that's the reason why you don't want to find out the hard way that everybody's got the same shirt after you've had this very
I'm sorry,
realistic.
babe.
Oh, I forgive you. I feel like it seems like I'm not forgiving you. I totally forgive you. You just can't pick my shirts.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Next question. Let's do this one. How has God used Sundays to grow us spiritually as a family?
I believe that, okay, so just your leadership, the fact that you get alone with God, I used to look at it like you're reading over your sermon, but it's so much more than just you're reading over your sermon. You really do use that time to get alone with the Lord. And I don't know, it's inspired me, number one, to have that alone time. So I talk with the Lord while I'm cooking breakfast and while I'm preparing for the morning. And I didn't necessarily do that on Sundays. I would get ready to go to church and have a million other things on my mind.
How great would it be if the church at large, like the church, really took the time to actually prepare our hearts? Yeah. I think that's one of those things that we say it. It's almost like the in Jesus' name, amen. Mm-hmm. Like we say it, but we don't.
Or I'm praying for you.
Yeah, or like that, I'm praying for you. We're like, yeah, let's prepare our hearts for worship. And we mean it in this 10-second before in the intro of the song, we're going to prepare our hearts for worship. But what would the church look like if we genuinely prepared ourselves for worship on a Sunday to say we are going into the Lord's body, this earthly body that he's left here, the hands and feet of the Lord. We're going to go to his house and worship him, and got ourselves in that mindset, really took time to pray, be in his word, listen to the Lord. I mean, that's a big thing that I heard years and years ago is we spend so much time. First of all, we spend a lot of time not praying. Mm-hmm. Then when we do pray, we spend so much time talking.
Yeah.
Do we ever take the time to listen?
Yeah.
And that's been something that's it's always hard for me, but it's been moving for me to take that time sometimes. And mid prayer, I feel sometimes the conviction of the Lord to just say, just stop for a minute and listen. Don't speak again. Just listen. Give the Lord room to speak to you because you're not speaking. And that's always helped me, or ever since I've been doing that, that's helped me. So I think too, if I could just chime in on that one, I know we're asking this as a mom, but I think that, our whole family being involved in church has helped us like as a family as a whole. Like we all see Sunday as important. We, as a matter of fact, for us, we kind of live our lives. It feels like, at least to me sometimes, like we literally live our lives like Sunday to Sunday, you know, from, you know, it's like, that's kind of the marker of every week is this, you know,
Oh, for sure.
you know, we have this like Sunday, but I mean, we're all in it. I mean, at least the way I feel like, I mean, you know, the kids say, well, we want to get there early. Can we ride with so-and-so? And can we ride with them? Or can, you know, whatever. So I think that's been a really sweet thing, is just to see everybody want Sunday to remain special and continue
Totally
in that.
agree.
So,
I totally agree.
oh, I thought you were going on. That silence got awkward real fast.
No, I have a lot of things.
Well, to say the things, it's the podcast. That's
I was thinking, you know, just about our I don't know, I feel like our Sunday morning breakfasts are part of that. You know, where we come together as a family, and no matter what's happening, what's going on, that is the one time and the one place we know that we're, us in the household that are still living in the household, we all gather around the table every Sunday morning, even if Elijah is crawling out of bed. Sometimes it takes a couple shouts, Elijah, are you coming? But it's a guarantee that all of us are going to be sitting there at the table and, you know, open and heartfelt prayer. And then just kind of sitting with each other and just fellowshipping with each other.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah. And I like this question we have here, but I think we've semi-addressed it. But, you know, how do we protect worship time even when the morning is a mess? And I'll let you take that one first, but how do you feel like we do with that? Like, how do we protect this worship time even when things are, and they are chaotic at times? As a matter of fact, I would say that the chaos side of happy chaos, Sunday mornings are definitely on the chaos side.
I would agree. But I feel like we protect it by getting up extra early. Getting up extra early and making time for worship. Worship through prayer, worship through time with the Lord. I feel like that is like, it's sacred. I feel like if you don't make time for it, if you're just rushing around and you get up and you're last minute and you're, you know, rushing to make breakfast and, you know, I don't know. I feel like there's that time that we have made, that we have created to protect worship.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
I would totally agree. As a matter of fact, when you were saying that, I was thinking that I remember somebody a long time ago said to me, they said, if you get up 2 hours earlier than maybe you had in the past, if you get up 2 hours early, that you equivocally for the week, you add a day's worth of work to the week. And they said, you've also added 10% to your day. If you get up 2 hours early, you've just added 10% more to your day. And so now even more so to think that, you know, think about like this, like go from the other side. If you were to talk about an event that we had on a regular day, we don't prepare, maybe to our fault, we don't prepare hours early. We don't get up early to go. I mean, we might get up early. Say we have to leave to get in the car to go somewhere at 8. We might make sure that we get up at, say, 7 to say, hey, everybody's got to be in the car at 8. Let's get up at 7. But we're not getting up at 5 a.m. to get in the car at 8 and on a regular day. So, you know, I think there's some wisdom there. Like we getting up that extra time early for us to spend time with the Lord and prayer and preparation and getting our hearts right and getting ourselves right before the Lord, and taking the time to do that. What a special way. That's a great answer. I would say that I feel like we protect Sunday by keeping it sacred or holy. Like we keep it separate in the sense, you know, I said like we live our lives like Sunday to Sunday. What another side of that is like we don't let other things get in the way. It's not an option. for us.
right.
You know, like you
Sacred time.
yeah, you can't look at, you could not look at us and say, I mean, I've had people try a few times and I'm like, you do realize I'm a pastor, right? Like
Right.
that's, I mean, it's not possible.
Yes.
But, you know, for the most part, even when it's been brought up, or if we see something, it's like, oh, there's this such and such going on. We would love to go to that. But we have church. And even to the tune of like, you know, oh, well, you know, I could take a day off and have one of the other pastors speak on a Sunday morning. Even if that's the case, if we're in town, if we're not like out of town somewhere, then even if another pastor takes that Sunday, number one, if we're out of town, we will watch our own church online.
Yep.
You know, we've been in Florida, not you and I, but certainly even when we were on our honeymoon.
Yeah.
You know, we were driving to Snowshoe.
Yep.
And, you know, here we are, Sunday church. You know, we've got it on live stream and we're watching it on the way and listening to church and worshiping on the way, even on our honeymoon. And so I think we just protect that time by not allowing anything else to invade it.
Yep,
if you think of the way like you would protect a nation, you wouldn't let, well, you're not supposed to just let anything in. That's a different topic.
That's for a different podcast day.
Somebody got mad about the bumper sticker Democrat comment. Boy, this is going to be bad. Anyways, but you know, you're supposed to protect that land. One of the ways that you protect that, let's use a different example. This one could probably be used for the land as well too, but that's okay. Like, how do you protect your house? You know, if you're going to go to bed at night and you're going to protect your house, what's the first thing you do?
Yeah, lock all the doors.
You lock all the doors.
Check the windows.
You don't let something else in.
Yep.
And so that's what we do with Sundays. We don't let other things in on Sundays. If they're going to interrupt church time, that sacred time, and even honestly, even to the point of like getting out, you know, some people will say to us, oh, well, can we get together at 1:00 or 1:30? And we'll say, I mean, unless it's like a super important thing to us, the answer is no. Like we can't get out. And they'll be like, well, what time does your church let out? And you know, the answer to that is we usually are out at about 12:30 as far as when we're dismissing and letting people leave, but then we're making that time to minister to people. So we want to keep that sacred.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
We've got a Bible verse we want to share with you, or Kelly has a Bible verse that she wants to share with you to just encourage moms on this Mother's Day. So take it away.
All right. So it's Proverbs 14, 1-2. A wise woman builds her house, while a foolish woman tears hers down with her own hands. Those who walk with integrity fear the Lord, but those who take a crooked path despise him.
Beautiful.
That's very beautiful.
Yeah. I love that opening line there. A wise woman builds her house.
I agree. My favorite part.
Yeah. But there's a lot of good parts in there.
But that opening line is definitely.
Yeah. Just to think about the ability that you have as a woman and as a mom to put time into building your house.
And I think about Sunday mornings when I read that.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember Sarah said something one time, my late wife, for those of you who don't know, I remember she said something one time. I can't remember exactly how she said it, but something to the tune of, like, you never waste money, or it's never wasteful to work on your own home. Mm-hmm. And, you know, she would mean that about everything, like, you know, just organizing or decorating or painting, or, you know, if we were doing something, she would always say that, like, you never waste money. I don't remember exactly what she'd say after that, like working on your own home or building your own home. And that's kind of what that reminds me of. It's like, you know, that's never wasted. It's not time wasted. It's not money wasted. I mean, certainly, I guess you could do wasteful things there. But if you're doing something and building your home, what a special thing.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, for sure.
Yeah. All right, we're going to try something here. I'd love to hear, Kelly, I mean, I'm putting you on the spot here, but do you have any encouragement for the mom who feels overwhelmed or unseen, or maybe who's still struggling through grief or loss or something of that nature? Do you have a word of encouragement that you would give to the listener watching?
So that's where I kind of feel like a wise woman builds her house, even in a time of grieving. Okay, so for the first 6 months to a year after I lost Jonathan, you know, I'll even say it now, I feel like I wasn't a great mom. I was very depressed. And so, it was like they got half of me. But the important thing is you're still here. Your children aren't looking at it like mom is depressed and she's not here. They are beyond grateful to still have you, especially in time of loss. And you know, moms, I think we kind of feel and even talk about being, insignificant at times, but it's actually really the opposite. Like,
Oh, for sure.
moms are so, there's so much put on men, and it's true. Like, the father is so important. Like, his position in the house is, it really is a make it or break it. But so is mom. She is the heartbeat of the home. She really does. I try so hard to keep things in order and to keep things flowing at home, so you can take your part and run with your part and do all the things that you need to do as the father and the husband of the household. But I really, speaking to the women who aren't feeling so much like that are in a time of grief, or that are a single mom, or that are just in chaos, just know you're going to look back and you're going to see that you were significant, you are important, and the work that you're doing is so, so important. And I want to encourage by saying, do it with a joyful heart. I know it's chaotic, and I know things can be really hard, and you can look at things like I did for the past 4 years, and I had thoughts of, this isn't fair. Why am I doing this alone? Why am I having to be a single mom? But you're teaching your kids things in that. You're teaching your kids resilience and keeping that relationship with the Lord. What a beautiful thing to continue to have faith and to continue to go, even if you're crawling, you're still moving forward. You're still pushing forward, and you're being what you need to be for your children. Even if it's half of you, you're still pushing forward and trying to be what you need to be for your kids. And your kids love you. Like, your kids think you are the greatest thing. I can look back and I think I did this horrible job because I was half there and half mentally checked out because of my depression. And my kids are just, they think the world of me. And yeah.
I love that. Here's a word that I would give to you and to any mom watching, especially if you're in the realm of feeling unseen. Here's something I would give you. Sometimes the biggest and most important things, if they're unseen, it's actually like it means it's a good thing. Like, it's a sign that it's a good thing. And so the illustration I would give you would be like the roof of a house. If you drive past a house, say there's this big, beautiful house. You and I, we talk often about, like, if we ever move and what would we build, and what do we talk about when we say we want to build a house?
Front porch.
Front porch. We love the idea of, like, having a big old front porch. We would love to have this big front porch. If I was to buy a house, I would want things like, in my mind, like, a basement is important. I always want to have a basement. It's a place to go in storms. And
big open kitchen, living room.
yeah, big open kitchen. I would love to be able to have a house that I can install a pool. Those things, right? But you know what I never think about when I'm talking about, like, my dream house? I don't think about the roof. But if that roof was damaged, if I went to go look at a house to purchase and there's a leaky roof, I go in and the ceilings are all wet, stained with water stains, or all wet or whatever, and I know that roof leaks, or from the outside there's a hole.
Excuse me. Thank you.
If I look from the outside and there's a hole in the roof, I'm going to notice that. So what I'm saying is, like, because the roof is good, I don't notice it.
Yeah.
And yet it is the thing that is over everything in that house. over the basement, over that kitchen with a big open, even over top of when we say we want a front porch, that roof line even goes over top of the front porch. If the roof wasn't good, I would notice it.
Yeah.
But because the roof is good, I don't run around thinking about roofs. I would say to the mom who feels unseen, don't forget you're that roof. You're over top of everything that is in that house, everything that is happening, everything, I say house, but home. You're over top of all those things that are in the home. And the fact that you might feel unseen might just be because you're doing it well. If you weren't doing it well, then it might be seen a little bit more.
That's beautiful.
And I know that there's a thought there that you could be like, yeah, but I want to be seen. Well, I mean, that's the reason that we have times like Mother's Day, and that's the reason we want to encourage you and give you that encouragement. Say, we see you to some degree. I mean, I don't see you particularly. There's thousands of you at times, so we don't see you particularly. But when I think about moms, like we do see our moms. We probably don't do a good job vocalizing that we see our moms. But when something's wrong, when there's a hole in that, even if that hole's not necessarily that you've done something wrong, maybe we're just talking like if mom gets sick, if mom is not able to operate, then we see and we recognize at that point. Like, don't you recognize at that point just how important the roof is? When the roof is leaking, isn't it a reminder of like, man, this is such an important thing to have a roof that's not leaking? And so, maybe we don't do a good job. I'm just maybe speaking for men or children or whatever, that, we don't always do a great job of articulating that, but we certainly notice that we're under a good roof.
Yeah.
So
I think that's beautiful. I think that's a great example.
Well, this has been a wonderful and special little Mother's Day episode.
Yes.
And look, we didn't even cry over anything.
Well, we're not done yet, almost.
We're wrapping it up. This train's slowing down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And part of that's because it's after midnight, and called it.
Man.
After midnight for us.
Yeah.
We have to film these late or early because that's the only way to do it in this house. We've tried to do it a few times with
Because the chaos.
Because the chaos, and yeah, I think the last one we were shooting, it was like we were in this like deep moment, and I had to like pause it. There was just something going on over here, and we had to go
chaos.
Yeah, we had to go be parents.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because the little girls.
Yeah, well, we've enjoyed spending our late night with you.
Yes.
Glad you guys got to see the new sign.
Yeah.
But you'll see it in every other episode, I guess, from this point forward.
Yeah. And tell us what you think of it. Don't you love it?
Just tell us you like it. Just
because they do. It's really cute.
I mean, I like it.
Do you like the colors? Like
that's what counts.
Pink and orange.
Maybe they'll put together that's our favorite colors.
You just told them.
Wow. Were you going to make it a question or something?
Yeah. No, it really wasn't. But we hope you have a really happy Mother's Day.
Yes. Happy Mother's Day to all you moms. And drop us a comment down below. You could answer some of those questions for yourself. I'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
Like, what's the most chaotic? Oh, can I tell a story real quick? Yeah. I want to hear the most. So years and years ago, my late wife and I, we had a vlog. And she loved videoing, and so she would make these videos of our family, and I mean, it was just that. It was just like a vlog. It was on YouTube, and it actually got kind of big there for a little while, and then we got doxxed, and that was really weird. Anyways, but before all that.
Which is another reason we protect our children.
Yeah, but before all of that, it was Mother's Day. Actually, I have a video of this. I could show you this from the vlog. I could still log on and
I got to see it.
Yeah, and so we titled the vlog Mother's Day Mayhem. Because we went over to my mom's house and ended up in a giant food fight.
I heard about this.
And now we were outside.
This is what started me and your dad in our little thing the other day.
Yeah. So it's like the whole family. We are just caking each other in all the food that is there. Giant food fight. Don't come at us for having a food fight, being wasteful. We did it. It was like I mean, pouring pickles on each other's heads. And I mean, it was like a full-on food fight. We were hurling cake at each other. And
Did it end badly in any way with anyone?
no, everybody's just having this
Good.
big time. But it did end up with us like having to hose people off. Like, I mean, we were covered in food, smelly, stinky, food. And
hilarious.
so then we had to get in what's now our daughter's van. That was the van that we had. And so we get in the van, and I forgot what it was. I don't remember what it was, but there was like no option. We had to stop by Walmart on the way home.
What was it for? You told me.
I don't remember. But whatever it was, like, it was not an option. We were like, we have to stop. So we're going to stop at Walmart on the way home. We're caked in all this food. So we've got the windows down. We don't have AC in the van at the time. So we've got all the windows down. It's crazy hot on that Mother's Day. So we get to Walmart, and some of the kids didn't want to come in because no, they all came in with us. But we left the windows down on the van. We ran into Walmart. We come back out, and one of the kids runs ahead, and they stuck their hand through the window of the van. And there is an alarm feature, and we did not know that. And so they pulled the handle from the inside, but the doors were locked, but the windows were down. And so they pulled the handle, and the alarm starts going off. We couldn't get it to stop going off. Like, I unplugged the battery and plugged the that's how I got it when I got home. I unplugged the battery and plugged the battery back in. But we had to drive home the whole drive, put it in drive. We're hitting the button on the key fob, nothing. So we're driving home now, caked in food, and the van is like burr, 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 the whole way home. All the windows are down because we don't have AC. So people are like looking in, we got like stuff on our faces. We're like, waving at people. That was the most chaotic Sunday I think we've ever had.
That's funny.
Yep. So there you go. There's my chaos story for you. You can leave it in the comments for us. Y'all tell us.
I would love to hear these stories.
Yeah. What's the most chaotic Sunday you've ever had? Or maybe you could share with us like what your Sunday routine looks like. We'd love to hear from you guys. So.
And share this with your mom. Share this with your mom friends.
Yeah, what a great thing. Yeah. All right, well, from all of us here at Happy Chaos, the whole staff back here.
Makeup team.
Yeah, makeup team.
Production team.
This face looks the way it does because of makeup.
Well, yeah. I mean,
it's the only way. Y'all wouldn't recognize me in public. You'd be like, who is that guy?
Who is?
It's because I wouldn't have my makeup.
Close.
Yeah. All right, guys. Ladies. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
See y'all.
Love you guys.